Yeah, it's been a long time since my country has gone into lockdown. I can have some time for myself, some extra time because I don't have to travel a lot. So I thought, why not better than make my new diva tips and tricks videos. Like I said in the last video, this one would all be based around score attacks and how I do them, how to calculate them, and some little tips and tricks. Disclaimer: the score attack will also be separate uploaded to my channel. You will see that. And second of all, I will leave a link. That's what I'm going to start with. I will leave a link to a God file amongst in the diva community we call it God file. That God file contains all the mechanics on the games and also mechanics you can read for timing. Those are partners and mechanics I didn't explain. So also, if you didn't watch the other parts, I highly recommend to do them, because the other parts will be a building stone for this one. Because you're probably been improving, you already have some stuff, and you'll be like, did you have gone some perfect, how do I improve? For now, I'm going to teach you a bit about early cools, early lates, early stuff, late stuff, timing wise, and how to improve on that note so you get less fines, less cools. Next video, which will probably be the last one because then I'm out of subjects. By that point should be done, or maybe I'll find some. It's gonna be about improving on the late game, like higher start charts, what to do, how to improve, what can I do. And that will also be available soon after this one. So, but I'm gonna plan. My plan is, that's why I have like this little document, to start you with, introducing to early, late, and ExEx goals. And you mean like, gee, of course are cool, right? Yeah, goals are cool. But if you're not interested in a most score. But with that, frame nodes come around the corner, and with frame nodes, I mean each node has a fixed position in which it can be a goal. And if you hit a goal, you will notice one of these three goals. I don't know if I can make it bigger so that you can see. One of these three goals. And if you notice slightly already, we determine an early goal by the white mark in it. And then exactly we call it tardy goal, but it's a late goal. An early goal is if the white mark slides to the left from the top right, indicating that you hit the node slightly too early. When exact goal is what it says, it is exact on the frame in which a case it places, so on the beat, which is also a bit subjective because Sega doesn't always correct that. And a tardy goal is also what we call a late goal. And a late goal is basically mean you passed the like 60 frame mark and now it's like 61 frames, for example. Like I said, this is also findable in the link in the description. The God file is it called. That God file will be is used among the diva community if you want to read on something I've explained in the other videos, or want to learn more on this. But basically, this is an early, an exact, and a late. And how do you know if an early good, and late good, or exact good happens, or an early bad, late bad, early save, late save? Well, basically everything before the early is considered early. There's like a good, save, bad, because that are the odd nodes that are not here. And everything after the late is considered the late. There's late bad, late good, and a late save are considered after the late cool. And I already know how you hear. How do I recognize one then? Well, let's go to an recording already noticed, and take for example, what should we do? I'm not prepared at all for this. Now let's go to the XX and cap. I really do understand XX. Those charts like on the piano section. You see that as an exact goal. Do you see that? Like, to be honest, one thing I already recommend. If you really want to see if you have a late, early, or exact, you have to record. That's mostly the thing, because you're not gonna pay attention to this in a chart when you're playing. Like, do you see the mean? Did I really notice here in a perfect if I late, early, or cool? If I remember correctly, doubt me on that. Sliders can be bad. Can't. And I had early I had it over like a late or good saves and beds. But that's also a few notes come around the corner. You have like for double, and that especially one for double, triplets, and quads. For quads, not for doublets and triplets. And then I don't know. Let's rephrase that. You know, talking is difficult. In case of a double and triple, there's actually 3 notes. There is a chance you can hit an almost or a worst. Or a miss. That are also notes you can hit. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. What are those? Well, worst and miss, depending on your Japanese, if you have the Japanese version or the English version, they're only named different. But basically, a miss indicates. Wait, do I have? Like a miss indicates you missed a note. A miss indicates simply you missed the note. So, is that in this video? What went wrong here? Like there's the save. I'm thinking of might have as Scoretex videos. What I'm doing. Okay, to reframe. Yeah, there are misses. This is in case you missed a note. In case if you have a Japanese version, it's called a worst or a miss. No, it's always a miss. Doubt me on that. Look it out. Looking onto Scoretex wise. See, and almost. And basically, if I go like a little bit earlier, can I see? An almost is basically, if I'm correctly indicating a note, a double note or a triple note, yeah, mostly a double that you hit with like other double notes. And I don't know if I have done a skirt attack, but you also can hit one note, like a one note of a double. And if I'm correct, that counts also as an also. And be a bit like, why would I do a score attack? Well, if you're counted on how do you call it, on the leaderboard, and you want to get it as high as possible, you have to learn score attacks. Most charts have a score attack on hard. That's what we're going to do today in the end of the video. Do one score attack. And we're going to do one score attack. Karuki Parrot, to be spoiling. But basically, if you don't care all about the scoreboard, then yeah. Oh wait, here. See? Instead of the circle triangle, I hit it this triangle square, indicating that I hit one note, but other not. Indicating an almost. You have to turn something on for diva, we'll look at that after. But for that you have like almost, with this case, is hitting a double note incorrect. You have wrongs and misses. Wrong and miss. Wrong and miss are, I think, from the top of my head the same, and it's basically missing the note. Or, yeah, making a mistake. And if you want to really go deep into it, you have a red wrong, a green wrong, and a gray wrong. A gray wrong is basically a good... Oh yeah, no. You have a purple wrong, a gray wrong, a green wrong, and a red wrong. A red wrong is, like you saw, on point, but you press the wrong note, or the color red. The color green indicates saved, is basically if you would have pressed the right note, it was a save. Gray means close to it, but still wrong note. And purple is completely wrong, so you missed timing wise. And yeah, but that actually indicates all the notes you can hit and early, exact, and late. And yeah, I also already set timing, but if you with this, you can also affect the amount of calls you get. Like for example, if you record a chart and you see that you get a lot of early calls and early goods. Like for example here, you can see I get a lot of late. So I could adjust my timing. And then I have to say it correctly, because I always forget that, always mess it up the other way around. Basically, I saved it somewhere, but where? Like if you're hitting the note late, so if you're getting a lot of late goods, late earlies, of late goods or late calls, then your offset goes towards the min. And your offset is basically timing wise in which the note will delay the frame you press it. And if you're hitting the notes early, your offset goes to the plus. So to recap, if you're hitting a lot of late notes and you want more calls, dus late goods, late saves, late bet, then you should hit, go to the timing to the offset and change it to the minus. Hitting a lot of early notes, dus early calls, early goods, use the plus. And if you want an indication where to start, basically take around 5, plus 5 or minus 5 and work from there. Advice, don't go do that for every chart, because it will fuck up your sync, to be sure. Yeah, it will fuck up your sync. And how do I know which monitor or which timing I should start with? Depends on monitor and TV wise. I can't help with that, it's a personal preference. But however, I have to say that some score attacks require an insane amount of timing. Like you can see, one score attack I tried to do is graffiti hard route. And to jump from to the next part of the video is the graffiti hard score attack, and that score attack is ridiculous. You have to find, I have a timing, but doing the steps is like I don't know, I can't hit it. You look, if you go to hard, oh, this is the Japanese version. Let me go to the English version. The link to this webpage will be in the description. I will explain what this webpage is in a moment, but to show you what the steps are for the hard score attack. Basically making two mistakes and you're dead, or one. Yeah, you have a BS that indicates a late bet and an early save. I will explain this more in depth in a moment. You have a cool, which is doable, and that extend is also doable, but the bet A is like really hard. Which makes this difficult is basically this score attack is calculated from part with all cools and red wrongs. Red wrongs are the least amount of life reduced when you press the wrong note. So if I press a gray wrong, I will lose 2 times as much health from the top of my head as I do with a red wrong. So basically I don't know who calculated it, but this person calculated and came by that you can do that with a BS. That's with an early bet on note 297, 307 and a late bet on 297 and a 307 early save. It is possible, but like I said, if you make 1 gray wrong or 2 and you're dead. You don't know, you want to know how much I tried this? So much that I can almost F0 this. Yeah, but basically this website is also in the description. And yeah, we as diva players don't always know everything from the top of our head. If you think we remember every score attack step from the top of our head, no. If you load the website first, it will look like this. These are all the charts that are in Project Future Tones. If you're a Megamix player, you just have to search for your chart. Originally, this chart is in Japanese, this site. If you go to the top right, there will be an icon from a menu. and you go to language, you can put it in English, and then it will be in English. On that same menu, you can search for songs. I would recommend searching on the music list. To show you what I know what I'm doing, I am on this website for 2 songs. Not an SD. I've done score attacks way long and upload to 108. If you go to the Snow White Princess on Heart, look who's here. It's me. Shameless bit self-promotion. But you're like, Juju, I don't know what to score attack. Go to this website, search the song you want to do. Mostly I recommend starting on hard. I will give you a few easy score attacks to do and learn, so you can get the feeling of it. But the most easy ones to start with are the ones that have an extend or a switch. Most, how do you call it? Most charts have a completion, like a max percentage. The max percentage is calculated by all cools. All cools should be around 100%. So if you all cool a chart, you get 100%. Usually on top of that you get a life bonus, and that depends a bit on the amount of notes you have. But the life bonus usually gives 1% extra. And then the holds come. The holds give around 5 to 6% max. So 5%, around 5% max. Most charts will go to 105 or 106. And barely go across. Like most top players are pushed the limits on the hard charts with whole frames and. But basically if you came here and you like have you found your score attack and you're reading like extend, what does that mean? Well, extend basically means like what it says. Extend the hold note until that note. In case you have like a note in between that is the same one, you have to press it in the wrong note. If you have basically pay close attention to the screen on the left. See? It extended me to till extend 271 and I got the square. I'm pressing the triangle because that's the only one left. Indicating that I pressed the note wrong, but still get the hold point bonus for it. That is basically what extend is. You extend your hold, and in case there are notes coming that's on the hold, so for example an X, then you press another note to keep the hold going, but basically lose as less life as possible. If you want to lose as less life as possible, a red wrong is like less life. Yeah, it's the note that gives that causes you to lose the less life, or the least amount of life. Yeah, switching is actually basically what it says. If you go to the other one I did, I'll go back again. Music list. This is my first ever done score attack and I found an issue with it. If you go to hard, oh, it's now back on me. Zenapent is on this, but basically I took it upon and learning. And this says an early good and a late good. Basically what you have to keep in mind. PS4 can push the score attack further because it's like runs at more frames than arcade. So I found out you can do this with like an early cool and a late good. Step 2. And like you can see, step 1 is step 1 and step 3 are like switching. That indicates if you see like note 339, or I will show it once it comes up in here. But like this indicates switching, actually switching hold note, like it says. Here we have note 45, that's a circle. Here, now there's a square comes up. And the square basically, as you already can see, if I would keep the hold with the square in it, then the next note I will press will destroy my hold. Watch what happens if I switch. I will get more points from it. So basically it's worth to switch, and in the end it will give you a bigger percentage, like I said. Charts can have a completion note. Usually on this page it also includes for each chart, if possible, what the completion note is or what the aimed percentage is. and what steps you have to take to switch, or usually a completion node only is switching, usually. I can give you one example already, in case it's not. Let me show you. If you go to remote controller, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So, stupid Juju. Yeah, here. I was counting where the R was again. If you go to to remote controller, I don't know if there are any hard charts, you have to look for yourself, but if you go to the extreme remote, and I want to separate a few extreme charts, it is, and there's basically a percentage attack. You have a score attack and a percentage attack. The score attack indicates you go for the most maximum amount of score, and the percentage attack basically includes you go for the max percentages allowed on the chart. And a PS4 difference with like arcade. As you can see, this step doesn't include the GG on the beginning, because it is impossible to do on arcade. And since it's found on PS4, you can do it on PS4 and get a bigger percentage out of it. So you have to look around what you can do. And also for the score attack, it includes more scores. So yeah, but to keep a look at my plan, I explain score attacks, video ID, early, exact, late goals and timing, 108 S charts, how do I learn and score attacks, not yet how do I learn, max percentage, max score attacks. Oh yeah, I'm already gonna say one thing. Diva arcade charts usually won't go higher than 106. Or 106, 107. Normally won't go higher than 107 or 106.1. In rare cases it will, but Mix Edition from Megamix or Mega 39S doesn't have these type of mechanics. In those charts, when you have 0 something, you usually are around above 110. So that is surely the only difference. That's a rejection on this rule or something. I explained how the max percent is counted for like 100% of exact only goals, 1% from life bonus around that, and like 5% score bonus max. The steps you encounter extend. Extend I've explained is keep the holds going. You basically have switches that explains switching the nodes from like one hold to the other point, which normally gives you more score than keeping the hold alive. Red grey rungs are done a cool and a fine. That's something I'm gonna explain in a minute. Because I'm gonna counter one on Karuki Parrot. But I have to explain one more thing. I just had it in my head. Oh yeah, 108 is a great place to keep track of nodes, but I highly encourage to keep everything here with a grain of salt. Natsu owns this website, and Natsu is really thankful for keeping alive this website and doing its part, but it's not very updated anymore. Just say members in the community have already found more percentage stuff and that, and better score attacks. So keep that in mind. Second of all, I'm gonna explain to you some other type of stuff you can get. Let me take a sip of water, stay hydrated. Before I go to my chart, I want to show you one more thing, and I think it's in the TU. Or not in the S, or before the PS. Which is before the PS. Yeah, odds and ends. If you go to the odds and ends one, on Heart, one of my favorite songs, people know. If you go to Heart, you'll find a lot of cool calls. For PS4 members in my community, can encourage a cool to be always like, no matter what. But if you encounter a cool, usually it indicates you need an early call on node A and a late call on node B. This can also differentiate from stuff to stuff. What you can encounter, like you saw with the hard graffiti score attack, is a bet BS, that's a bet save. So an early bet and late save. Oh no, in that case it was a late save, late bet and an early save. So you have to really read what's standing. But what you also can encounter is cool G or cool F. I think they are described here as good. But if you have Japanese version, then a good is a fine. So you can encounter cool, good, a G, C. It's a good, cool. Just read what stands and yeah. Like I said, it is built up. If you look from the top, cool is at the top. If you go from left to right to bottom, you get a early cool, early good, late good, early save, late save, early bet, late bet, and then misses. So that you know. So that you know how the structure is defending. Or that's how I experience. If it's something different, please let me know so that I can also figure it out. But basically it starts with a bet, then you get a save, then you get a good, and then you get the cool. And I don't know how big the margin is for frame wise, but also now we're gonna do the fun part because I think I've explained everything mostly. How do I learn a score attack? How do you learn a score attack? That's a good question. If we go to the one I'm going to be doing at the end of the video, and also if you're watching from that part, that will be uploaded to it. Karuki Parrot is an easy score attack. That's what I'm going to say. Now I know. Score attack. If you want to start on score attack, Karuki Parrot, melt. Let me type it in here. So Karuki Parrot, or aka the clown song. I know melt is an easy one. Yeah, basically I have done more, which are easy to do. Yeah, I'm your diva thinking also of easy one. Was that yeah. Wait, let's look how easy I'm your diva is. Because I'm your diva, I'm thinking also of an easy one. Like I'm your diva is a slow song, so yeah. See, only 5 extend steps and 1 CC. So if you wanna know it from hard, from easy to hard, if you wanna start with the score attack, I would highly recommend doing melt first. Melt is an easy score attack to do. It's like I have 2 steps. I can show you. Then afterwards we're gonna do the one I'm doing, Karuki Parrot. It's like 3 steps with like 2 switches and 1 extend. And if you really wanna experience yourself, go look for Deep Sea Girl or I'm Your Diva. Those mostly only have like extends and CCs. To show you melt before we start. Yeah, it is just clicking around a lot and your melt is a really easy one. That's extreme. That's not easy. Hard. I would recommend starting with hard, by the way. See, 1 switch and 1 extend. What they mean with by the way, I have melt. Yeah, what they mean with that extend is here. With that wrong, what I mean is you hit that wrong and I have to make 1 exclude if you're doing melt. Yeah, it doesn't pop up, but you get the whole bonus. And before we start, before we're gonna start with the Karuki Parrot, I have one thing to explain again, and that is a hold note. A hold note is basically it's a set amount of frames wide, a set. Normally in holds take 300 frames to complete. If you have like 1 hold active and you encounter a new hold, this you start a new hold with it like a double note, then it still takes 300 frames to complete from that note onward, from the second hit. Like you saw probably when playing diva, like that yellow max hold bar. There is a rule for that when it appears. If a note maxes out on frame 300 and is then actually completed. If on frame 300 you hit another note that is not a hold note, the bar will appear and you will get and maxes out. in case you hit the hold note on frame 300, on 301, the max hold bonus bar will not appear, but your hold will still be completed. In case for which score attack that is, from eye to eye, and I encourage that to reach you in your own time, because I'm don't have time for that now. Karuki Parrot, the clown song. Like you can see, you have two switches. Well, switches are just stuff to remember. What I usually do, if it has an extent, like you can see here, it's a cool with an extent. I usually write down those notes which you have to extend. So I'm going to be doing that also. I have like a little book here, which I read all of my notes score attacks in. Maybe I should give this away one day. You can see all the score attacks I've done in my handwriting, if people want that. Let me know in the comment down below. Do I have graffiti calculations did? Oh, that's Deep Sea Girl. Like, I usually write down everything I do. Where's a pen? I need a pen. So what I usually do is I watch at the F0 one. So you have an F0 and a score attack usually. In case you have an accent, I highly recommend first the F0 so that you get like, or that's what I do. I watch the F0, I get the screen of, okay, there I have to switch, there I have to switch, and there I have to extend. So if you watch this one, in the meantime I'm gonna schrijf it up. You can see A, the switching, and B, the extending. I have to say some steps can overlap with each other. Like you can see on step 1, you have to switch from 48 to 54. But 54 immediately starts steps 2. That's also a thing to notice. And also a thing to notice, since the diva community is divided across the world, you can encounter people who upload a Nico video to here. Nico video is basically Japanese sort of YouTube. So don't be scared. Nico video is not an like public bad thing. So, or a bad website. I try, if you note it down, like I'm gonna usually only note the number down. Just the number on which note it is. And then I usually do, if it's a switch, I draw an arrow. Yeah, I can show you this now, but I will show you, you will notice what I do. Just note it down. And which note to switch, like a 54. And there's basically a few times practice of that. What we do in a moment, and that will also be uploaded to YouTube. So if you like watching all the score attacks, like you saw in the videos I did before, I have a score attack playlist. Go to that, you can like it, and maybe I will do more in the future. See? I forgot, but if you look, watch the extent. I usually try to write it as short as possible. So if you have like 54, 60, 74, 86, I wrote down. And then on which note to max, and then return. There's the switch. Like you can see the rungs. And don't be scared to lose your life. Like you see. You will lose life and you will almost go and get screen sometimes. Don't be so afraid of that. Let me read this down. 60. You're lucky that this score attack is like all the way in the beginning. If you want to get the max points with an F0. Like Deep Sea Girl is all the way at the end, so that's a bit harder to practice. I won't advise practicing with practice modes with timing, because they will differentiate from your real games, real runs. Let me know in the comments down below if you wanna see if I should give away my notebook with like diva score attack things. People like that. Like you saw that triangle switch? That was the triangle switch from square to thing. This. So now you know, like... Oh, wasn't it? Here we get a square note. As you can see, if I hit the triangle note to keep the square note, it will go away on the next note. If I switch to only the triangle note, the square hold will be active furthermore, and I will get more points out of it. There is a whole, by the way, in the code file there's a whole way to calculate score attacks and all that sort of stuff. So if you're really interested in that, go ahead, experiment. So, do you recap what I learned you today? Because we're gonna into practice mode after this. I learned you what are late, what are cool notes. This early cools, late cools, exactly cools, and also with that good, stays, and bad. The structure of them. I showed you around 108 and how we do score attacks. I explained the different steps you can encounter. I explained the types of videos you can see, like percentage attack, score attacks, F-zeros. I also explained to you how I learned score attacks and the two I've done and how it is. And with that, yeah, I've also explained to you a bit about timing, how that can affect you to get more or less calls. Yeah, that's also worked the other way around. So, for you it will be a second interaction, but I'm going to switch to my PS4, so I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back. For you it's like 3 seconds interaction. This is post-recording me. This section is between, after I teach you everything about the score attacks. Only, I figured for some reason, my mic got muted during the score attack stuff. So I don't have, and I have recorded everything I said. But basically all I said is like switching, hold. So what I'm going to do instead, I will cut the video, the score attack video one that I made separately into size of only the first one. And there you will see that I'm basically trying to talk, but my mic is muted for some reason. So you won't get to see the other fill-up times. I did some fill-up times I thought was talking, but for some reason, like I said earlier, my mic is muted. So you will see the score attack after this intersection. What I'm going to say already now, if you like what you saw, please do and enjoy. This is also be set in front of the score attack video. I mean separately. So if you're watching this from that video, from the score attack only, yeah, it is made on the diva diva tips and tricks video. Only, yeah, for some reason my mic was muted. So I don't know why, but if you like, so I'm gonna do this now, but it is for the end there, so then you know what I'm going to say. If you like what you see, comment down below, let me know if I want to do more stuff of these. Also, if you come from the score attack video, I highly recommend watch my diva tips and tricks video series. Basically explains what I've done wrong, what I've should done better, and give you an help in how to improve and become better in extreme. Because the next video is going to be high star and tips. But this is post me, and I wanted to say that, and I'm going to say have fun watching the score attack one. It's only going to be the correct one, because otherwise you've been sitting for 10 minutes to the same video, watching me like, yeah, watching me talk while nothing happens. So if you like what you see, leave a comment. The videos at the end will also indicate there will be an outro at the end, so that you know videos will pop up like usual. But with that, I'm gonna say post me out.